Okay, for instance, Alice composes and encrypts an email for Bob using Bob's public key. She follows up by sending Bob the encrypted email. After receiving the email, Bob uses his private key to decrypt it so that it may be read. As a result, Alice can communicate Bob securely without being concerned that the message content will be viewed by someone else. With the use of the matching private key, only the intended recipient may decode and read the email, guaranteeing the confidentiality of its contents. To provide secure and private communication over the Internet, asymmetric encryption is commonly employed in a variety of communication methods, including messaging apps, digital signatures, and the encryption. The main features of asymmetric encryption, also known as a public key cryptography, is dual keys. Asymmetric encryption uses a pair of keys, including a public key and a private key. The public key can be freely shared with anyone, while private key is kept secret and known only to the key owner. Encryption and the decryption, it's the asymmetric encryption uses the public key to encrypt data and the private key to decrypt data. This allows secure communication between two parties without the need of exchange secret keys. Also, digital signatures using the secure key exchange. Also, it's about the for example, Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm uses asymmetric encryption to establish a shared secret key between two parties without exchanging the key itself. Also, security. This type of encryption considered more secure than symmetric encryption because it eliminates the need of exchange secret keys, which can be a security risk. Additionally, the private key is kept secret, which makes it harder for attackers to intercept or tamper with data. Also, slow processing. Asymmetric encryption is slower than symmetric encryption because it involves more complex mathematical operations. This can make it less suitable for applications that require fast data processing. Overall, asymmetric encryption offers several unique features that make it an essential tool for secure communication and the data exchange. However, it also has some limitations, such as slow processing speed, which should be considered when choosing an encryption method for a particular application. Here, I would like also talk about the difference between the private key and the public key. As you know, the cryptography is a science of secret writing with the intention of keeping the data secret. Cryptography is classified into the symmetric cryptography and the asymmetric cryptography and hashing. As you know, today we talk about the asymmetric encryption. Here we have two keys, private key and the public key. Private key, the same key, is used for encryption and the decryption. In this key is symmetric because the only key is copied or shared by another party to decrypt the ciphertext. It's faster than public key cryptography. Public key, two keys are used, or one key is used for encryption and another key is used for decryption. One key, public key, is used to encrypt the plain text to convert it into ciphertext, and another key, private key, is used by the receiver and decrypt the ciphertext to read the message. Now we see the difference between them, between private key and the public key. The private key is faster than the public key. Private key is the same key, and the algorithm are used to encrypt and decrypt data. But in the public key cryptography, we use for encryption, the decryption, the different keys. In private key cryptography, or in other words, it's the symmetric encryption, and the key is kept secret. But in the asymmetric encryption, one of the two keys is kept a secret. The private keys is symmetrical because there is only one key that is called a secret key. The public key is asymmetrical because there are two types of keys, private and the public keys. In this cryptography, the sender and the receiver not need to share the same key in the private key. In the public key cryptography, sender and the receiver do not need to share some key. Here in the private key is private, but in the public key, the one key is public and the one is private. Uh, private key cryptography it's the efficient technology, but the public key cryptography it's inefficient technology. Also, in symmetrical encryption, we use large amounts of text, but in the asymmetrical, we only use short messages. Also, there is the possibility of losing the key that renders and that renders and senders and renders the systems void. There is a loss possibility of key loss as the key is held publicly. The private key is to be shared between two parties. The public key can be used by anyone. The performance testing checks the reliability, scalability, and the speed of the system. The load testing checks the sustainability of the system. The private key is used in algorithms such as IS 128, IS 192, and IS 256. The public key is used in algorithms such as RSA, DSA, ECC, etc. The private key is kept secret, the public key is widely distributed. It's used to protect disk drivers and other data storage devices. It's used to secret web sessions and emails. The recipient private key decrypts the message. The recipient's public key encrypts the message. The private key is locking key, and then the system can be used to verify documents sent by holder of the private key. The public key is the locking key, then it can be used to send provide communication. Okay, here I would like to talk about also data encryption. I think you know from your last previous course cryptography, but I would like to clarify again. Data encryption is a method of preserving data confidentiality by transforming it into ciphertext, which can only be decoded using a unique encryption key produced at the time of the encryption or prior to it. Data encryption converts data into a different form, such as code, that can only be accessed by people who have a secret key, formerly known as a decryption key or password. Data that has not been encrypted is referred to as plain text, and the data that has been encrypted is referred to as ciphertext. Encryption is one of the data is one of the most widely used in the successful data protection technologies in today's corporate world. Encryption is a critical tool for maintaining data integrity, and its importance cannot be overstated. Almost everything on the internet has been encrypted at the same point. What about the importance of the data encryption? The significance of encryption cannot be overstated in any way. Even though your data is stored in a standard infrastructure, it's still possible for it to be hacked. There is always the change that data will be compromised, but with data encryption, your information will be much more secure. Consider it this way for a moment. If your data is stored in a secure system, encrypting it before sending it out will keep it safe. Sanctioned systems do not provide the same level of protection. So, how do you think this would play out in real life? Yes, consider the case of a user of a company's data who has access to sensitive information while at work. The user may put in the information on a portable disk and move it in anywhere they choose without any encryption. If the encryptions are set in place ahead of the time, the user can still copy the information, but the data will be unintelligible when they try to see it someplace else. These are the benefits of data encryption that demonstrate its significance while